Hello. You probably clicked on this video because you too want to know the secret to how to cure your social anxiety. Well, you can't. But I can tell you one of the strategies that I used to help control it and reduce it. Now there are many different breathing exercises and rituals that can help reduce anxiety on the spot, but I want to help you prevent it from even getting it to that point where you're flustered, your heart's racing, you're maybe trembling and stuff like that. I'm gonna show you what I did to kind of control my social anxiety. And now this is just my experiences and what helped me get through it, but you can't go wrong with at least trying it out. It's the most basic way of reducing your social anxiety. Also, one thing I'm gonna have to say is never self-diagnose yourself. If you think you have anxiety, consider an anxiety disorder, consider going to a doctor so you can get a proper diagnosis. And let me tell you why you don't want to self-diagnose. First of all, if you're seeing symptoms of a disorder and you think they match you pretty well, those same symptoms can probably be applied to a different disorder that you didn't even think of searching up. So you could be diagnosing yourself for one disorder, but it's actually another that's affecting you. So then you try and cure it using whatever ways you would need to cure that one, but you're doing it for the wrong diagnosis. You're not doing anything if you don't know what you're diagnosed with. And secondly, diagnosing yourself can make a disorder that you don't even have act in reality. Even if you don't have the disorder, you'll take on the role of believing you do, and then you'll develop symptoms that you wouldn't even have in the first place. So that's one thing. Don't self-diagnose yourself. If you think you have a disorder, go see a professional. So let me get to what I actually did to reduce my anxiety. And the best thing you can do is to go out and actually do shit. It sounds terrifying. Trust me, I know. I used to go to convenience stores shaking because I was too scared of social interaction. I was scared of someone who I didn't know, didn't want to know, and really frankly didn't give a shit at all, right? I would never see them again. But I cared about their opinion somehow on how I looked, how I acted, how I talked. So I was constantly afraid of saying something wrong or not saying anything at all. And you know what that did? It kept me stuck in a constant loop of having terrible anxiety and feeling like I couldn't do anything about it. Because no matter if I did everything right in a social situation, which is you can't even do anything right because you just act how you act, that you just be yourself. But I would just beat myself up about it every single time I would do anything, and it was horrible. It was just every single day was just spent worrying about things and having anxiety. It was not a good time to live. And it's all in your mind, right? I used to be 200 pounds, feeling like a piece of shit. I've been pretty hefty my whole life, and I've developed coping mechanisms, I guess. If I used to go to the beach, I would try and suck my stomach in all the time because I was so self-conscious about my weight, and I think that developed into what my social anxiety used to be. And one day, one of my friends told me about Jordan Peterson, and I really got into his lectures because he spoke about taking control and not wasting the potential you have, and it really connected with me. And he basically inspired me to start losing weight, and so I did. I lost 50 pounds in about 7 or 8 months, and I felt a lot more confident, obviously. And so I'm gonna link some of his motivational talks and lectures down in the description if anyone else is interested in hearing what he has to say and hearing what he said to help me get through a pretty tough time in my life. But it didn't actually do much for my anxiety. It did a lot for my self-esteem and my confidence, but for my anxiety, it actually got worse since it was during the pandemic times. It's hard to go out. It's hard to find new things to do because you're stuck at home. So you just your social anxiety just grows, right? You can't really have an outlet to practice talking or to practice doing anything. And I would never take risks. I was 17 and had basically never went on a date before, not a real one at least. And that's you don't even need to beat yourself up about that. That's just I feel like that's just like what society deems to be like a confident person, or like the ideal person. You go out on dates, you talk to girls and all things like that, but it's completely fine if you don't, right? Obviously you want to work towards resolving the issues you have regarding like going out on dates and stuff, but you shouldn't make it your whole life. You should just focus on what you want to do. But so one day I told myself, you got to stop being a little bitch and just go for it. So I went on a date with this girl I matched on Tinder, because at the end of the day, if the day goes horribly, I'll still be the same person after it. I'm gonna wake up the same, go to work the same, go to school the same. I'm just gonna be the same person. You know what I mean? So why not just go for it? You have one life, and you definitely don't want to regret it 30 years into the future, looking back, thinking, "Oh shit, I should have taken the risk. I should have taken the chance." You'll regret is a lot more powerful than being scared of a situation. It'll be a lot more worse in the long run. So why not take the risk? You have like a whole life ahead of you, and that's kind of like what life is all about, isn't it? Just like taking risks and getting experiences, like fulfilling yourself to like better yourself and to better the world around you. You want to leave a place better than when you found it. And you know what? Right after the date, I felt really good. Like I scored the game-winning touchdown. Sounds a little weird because it's just going on a date, but if you have really hard like social anxiety and you're mostly introverted, it feels really good, right? You just fulfilled like you just did something that you never thought you could be able to do, right? It's like really scary at first, but then when you accomplish it, it just lights you up. And I realized that all of the anxiety that you feel is for nothing, because all it does is psych yourself out, and it just like prevents you from being yourself, which is what you want to do. You want to be yourself, but the anxiety is so like powerful that you just like overthink everything and you end up not being yourself. And the best thing you can do is just to follow your gut, to say what you would say, not try and be someone else to fit somebody else's um view of you, right? That's not fulfilling. You're just gonna end up being depressed and lonely if you just like keep up a facade of trying to be someone else. So basically the point of the story is there's no cheat code. You just got to go for it. Go to a bar, go to a party, hang out with your friends. That's the only cure. You have to go out and it sounds corny because everyone says it, but you need to get out of your comfort zone, and that's how you'll gain confidence. That's how you'll reduce your anxiety, because after some time, if you keep doing things like these, you're just not going to be scared of them anymore because it's so familiar. And while you're doing those, you're gaining a new like form of self-confidence and self-esteem, and you feel like an actual human being rather than just like observing everyone around you. And if you haven't had many experiences like I used to, I had nothing. I just had like some friends and stuff like that, but I've never had any like real romantic experiences. It helps you discover yourself. And also if you try to go to parties and stuff like that, you can start to see if parties are for you, if you like to go and rage and all that stuff, or if you like to just chill at home and just like hang out with some friends. You can discover yourself while working on your social anxiety. It's a two for one. So you just have to like you just have to go for it. And if you're experiencing like a lot more serious symptoms of like anxiety, like panic disorders, maybe panic attacks and things like that, where it can actually become like a serious problem, then you should look into a doctor who might like assign you to like some psychotherapy. Um, but it's never a lost cause. The point is, don't let the anxiety grow and consume you. Take control before it's too late.